guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we have a really cool truck come through. It's a 92 W250 5-speed 4-wheel drive, and the owner's name is Dwayne, and he is out of Victoria, Texas. And this is just such a cool truck. I had to show you guys a walk around and kind of let Dwayne, that's in the background here, share some cool stories of how this truck came to be. So I guess let's take a little walk around it and check out this beauty. So
okay, yeah, it's a 92. It was bought in the family in 1992, brand new, used as a pasture truck for 20 years until the uncle passed away. Then I bought it dead in the pasture.
So it looked like this when you picked it up, huh?
Oh yeah. Yeah, every panel was dented, every
oh my gosh, the
roof was rusted out, the bed was rusted out.
Right.
And I got it running and drove it for 10 years, and then Carlo little girls decided they didn't like the truck, so they pulled out in front of me and totaled it. So from there, I started with a brand new frame and built the truck from the ground up, and pieced it back together and took the whole entire body cab and everything down to white metal. Sandblasted the frame down to white metal.
Wow.
Everything, all the jams, sandblasted to white metal, and just started over.
He's not kidding.
We drive it everywhere. Went all the way back and drive it all over the country.
So this is pretty much the definition of a frame off resto. So, I mean, we have, you said these are powder coated original wheels.
They are the original wheels for the truck.
Awesome.
In fact,
were they a survivor?
With the exception of this wheel did not survive. This wheel is a different model from the rest, but this one was in the accident and it got damaged.
Gotcha. Okay, I see.
OEM. Well, and
there
the only
it
way
is.
you can tell it is because it's got a smaller valve stem hole than the rest of them.
And it has the Mopar right there, man.
Yeah, they all have the Mopar on.
That's right.
But this
so
one
cool.
has a smaller valve stem than the other.
Okay, this one didn't survive in the wreck, but the other ones did.
Other ones they came with the truck.
Cool. I just want to show you guys underneath, and we'll get to the under the hood. But look at this. Every nut and bolt's probably been off this, huh?
Every nut and bolt.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is crazy. Yeah, this is the definition of the frame off resto. I don't know if it gets, I want to show you guys again, kind of back here. I mean, wow, that is just so mint. It just looks brand new. Look at that paint. How many years ago was the truck repainted?
I did the whole thing from the ground up myself. I finished it 2 years ago. It took me 5 months from the day I took it.
Wow.
Took it out of service to the day I drove it out of my shop was 5 months.
Wow, that's incredible.
But I am retired.
all right. This was the day job.
Yes, this was the day job.
Cool. You have a bed liner in here, and then you also have the extra.
Well, this takes care of it because when I show the truck, we pull the liner out and the bed's perfect underneath.
Okay, cool. And then you just throw the bed liner in
with the rubber, so we can
actually
do
work.
Stuff like haul motor grader blades in it.
Perfect. So. Hey, no, that's awesome, man. And it looks like the trim is probably the LMC.
Yes, it is.
Okay. All right. It looks really good. I mean, it's on that.
Just a little bit. I think
different.
It's an 1/8 inch narrower and a little bit different, but it's all you can get.
Well, hey, it's on that truck I have a video of there in Arizona, and the truck sold for $60,000 on Bring a Trailer. So
yeah,
it passes the test, right? It's the best we have so far. So, and then you were saying that you painted on the stripe yourself.
Yeah, the stripe it's a Toyota red, and
the closest you can get.
The closest I can get to the original stripe color, but that's the first color that got shot onto the truck.
That's awesome.
And then everything else is painted over it, and of course it's cleared in.
Just cleared in, so it's it's so good, man. I'll show everyone the interior real quick. The truck had, so this is a 92, so the factory 92 was the
camel.
Like the camel, the saddle tan, right? And then you guys went with this.
This is actually a saddle tan.
Okay.
Camel is the little spots that you see.
Okay, all right. So factory, kind of this color, if you guys can kind of picture the truck, and then we went with this color, so the whole thing, bench seat and all. Look at that. Even the headliner looks so nice, man. And there it is, the 5-speed,
and the
4-wheel drive.
And note the shift levers.
Yep.
They're 5/8 ground rods.
Ah, okay. Got the brass.
No, they're copper clad steel.
Oh, okay. So it's polished copper.
Right.
Very
Yeah,
cool.
It's like you use for your house.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's their house ground rods.
Look at that. That is custom, man. That is cool. And it's a nice color with the truck.
Yeah,
so
it works with it.
and then
the shift handles, I cut the corners off of a pallet and
really?
ground them out with a grinder and a drill.
wow, look at that. That is cool, man. It's just these custom things with these trucks that makes them, you know, so unique. All right, let's go take a look under the hood. Swing around you here. All right, there's the heart and soul of the good old Dodge Ram right here.
It's Cummins.
There it
All
is.
stock. Only thing it's got is the spring. Engine's completely, did everything rebuilt, and it's still got the original cam and most of its tappets, and
So cool.
outside of that, it's just I'm gonna guess it's probably got 23 and 400,000 miles on it.
Cool.
But crankshaft still specs out to OEM new.
So you're
Not
saying
egged.
the engine was totally redone.
I did it.
You redid the whole entire engine.
And yes, whole
drivetrain.
front to rear. I did both differentials, the transmission, transfer case. Every bearing in this vehicle has been replaced.
This guy doesn't want to be on camera because if he was, then everyone would be asking him to do their
No.
trucks. No, I'm just kidding. But I do have to ask again about, you know, the polished valve covers, the valve cover beauty plates, the intake horn. Everyone's gonna ask, so how did you make it look like that?
All I did is took a die grinder with a very fine wire cut brush. I think it was probably a 3/4 inch fine wire cut brush, and sanded them first with I think 600 or 800 paper.
Wow.
And then came back over and polished them over. Of course, all I did was paint strip the top half, and then just did a little artwork in painting the selective letters on the top of it to just make things pop a little bit.
Sure, gotta have the red.
And
sneak around you real quick.
exhaust manifold, I glass blasted it down to white metal,
All right.
and it's just your VHT high heat paint. And turbocharger, it needs redoing now, but it also, I just did the fine wire wheel and also
Cool.
the intake horn, all that.
Oh, and the
fine
plate
wire wheel.
looks really good.
Yeah, and like I say, you're looking at about 2.5-year-old work, and it's been weathered, and
It looks dang
gets
good for
driven.
2.5.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm glad you said that. Tell everyone where all this has been driven.
So far since I finished it, I think our first trip was to Missouri,
Okay.
and every trip has a 18-foot trailer behind it, and we picked up equipment there. Then we've been to Oklahoma City,
All right.
Dallas,
Yep, we're here in Dallas.
Nebraska, yeah, East Texas.
Las
Recently
Vegas.
went to Las Vegas and picked up a car. We went to Rio Dosa, New Mexico, and looked at a van.
Wow.
And I also, for up until about 3 months ago, it was my daily driver since the day I finished it.
How long has it been finished for?
Just about 2 years, 3 months.
Look at that. Been all those places, daily driving, using this thing.
It's got right at 30,000 miles on the bill.
So cool. And that's just rebuilt drivetrain.
Yeah.
We're talking every panel has been painted. I mean, just everything looks amazing. So I'm gonna crawl under there a little bit and show these guys this drivetrain because I got to see for my own self.
Yeah, show them all the greasy spots.
Oh yeah. Check this out, guys. Let's see if we can get that to focus. Yeah, it looks really clean. Yeah, you did a really good job, man. I mean,
Oh, thank you.
look at that bed. Yeah, it looks very nice.
All of our vehicles are like them clean.
So,
Please.
what's kind of some tips? Because I know a lot of people want their truck to look exactly like this with this caliber of precision. What's kind of some tips for following through and actually making this happen?
Well, don't cut corners. Everything, don't don't cut corners.
Yeah.
Do the work. I say every piece of it was white metalled to the bond and epoxy primered.
You cut out the roof where there was rusty and grafted in an OEM roof.
That's correct. Everything. Yeah. There's no patchwork on it. That was the only rust on the entire truck. Well, except for the bed floor. Of course, I replaced the whole bed.
Yep. And, sometimes you got to start with a good bed, you know.
All interior panels are sandblasted down to white metal, epoxy primed, then base coated and cleared, not just base coated. Even the radiator support, took it down, welded up all the busted spot welds and cracks in it.
Yeah.
And put it, because this is the original radiator support.
Even with that wreck.
Even with the wreck.
So cool.
That panel's good. It's got the factory original radiator and intercooler that came with the truck. Well, in fact, the entire drive line, front to rear, came with this truck.
That is so cool. And tell everybody, you're telling me earlier when you guys first showed up who this truck belonged to, and I know in the first part of the video you were saying, but
it
was our uncle.
It was our uncle.
And how old were you guys when he bought the truck brand new?
32 years old.
32.
Yeah, 32 years old when he bought it new. Yeah, because I had at that time I just bought a '79 Chevrolet half-ton four-wheel drive that was really nice.
Whoa!
And to pull it up beside this, and it was almost as big as my Chevrolet with 4 inches of lift on it.
So y'all thought this was basically the coolest thing.
Oh yeah. And it was diesel too. You can see them.
Yeah.
It was new.
They were new
and
still fresh.
Yep, it was fresh. Never dreamed I'd own it. Never thought I'd want it.
Just always thought it was Uncle had a really cool truck.
I drove by there after he was gone, and I saw it sitting out there in the pasture, all half flat tires and windows still down on it, and picked it up because there wasn't nothing there. It was a trailer job to get it home.
It sounds like this truck behind me is kind of.
It was close to that.
Yeah.
It was
show
very
you guys
close.
This real quick. I mean, this is
Except this one has less dents. That's a fact.
This truck's straight.
This truck's
straight. Looks like on the other side. I don't know.
This one. No, it had that.
We got bullet holes. We got all kinds of stuff, man.
We had that dent. We had this dent on both sides.
Yep.
We had it postmarked on the other side of the bed, straight up and down.
Looks like the window is left down on this one too.
Yeah, but not near as long.
Yeah. Yeah.
You still see the needle on the gauges in this one. All my friends and in-laws asked me what was on my mind when I started on this. They would have drug it to the junkyard.
It was sitting so long that you couldn't even see the needles on the gauge cluster.
No, barely.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty rough.
Yeah, it was rough. And that's still the same panel and glaze cluster. I brought it back.
Whoa!
Get McGuire's fine cutting compound and a brand new buffing wheel. And
no kidding.
Yeah, after hours of trying to do it by hand, that fixed it.
Wow.
That was my last resort. I said either we're going to burn it up or fix it. And it fixed it.
Wow. Painted this yourself, restored put every nut and bolt back on the truck.
Yeah. Everything is close to
went through the entire drivetrain. Put everything back together.
Even added electric door locks to it. That's the only fancy thing it's got.
Manual doors, electric door lock.
Yeah,
that's cool.
See, my handle is in the middle. Get the little bezel.
Oh, right here.
Yeah.
Look at that. That operates the door locks. That is cool.
Yeah, and it's just one of these single switches.
So, you were saying that this truck had vinyl carpet when you started.
It was a rubber floor truck.
Which now a light bulb is going off in my head because this switch right here, there was no buttons. You didn't.
No, it was a blank.
The truck's a manual, so you don't have the overdrive button. And then because it was one of the base models or whatever model you want to, back in the day, it had the vinyl carpet. It also had the rear cargo light delete.
So that
would have been, if you did have an LE, it would have had
switch,
correct. Yeah, it would have had the switch. So that is really cool, man.
And also this is 13 years old.
Carpet.
Yeah, that's a $40 rug from Lowe's Home Improvement.
That is awesome.
Yeah, I cut and fit and seam sealed it.
Wow.
To fit the floorboard.
Well, hey, I mean, you could always take out the floor mats and be in your socks driving around and be
in your fuzzy carpet.
Exactly. It'd be like you're sitting on the couch, man. But this is incredible. The paint is so nice. The undercarriage is just so pristine. That is just such a great example of following through and just having a dream and just
This is the first truck
taking
we ever
care of it.
painted.
Yeah, this is my first paint job.
Wow, that was one heck of a first paint job. You did amazing.
Yeah,
This truck is just incredible, man. So, well, thank you so much for letting me swing the camera around and just show everybody, and hopefully there's a few more people than just me that enjoy this truck. And I guess you guys said you go to a bunch of car shows and
it trophies.
Oh, I bet it does.
Yeah, we enjoy it. Don't plan on selling it. Besides, I'm old. I'll die. It'll keep living.
That's right. This thing will live for another 100 years, man.
Yeah, that's
so cool.
That is the plan.
All right, guys, that pretty much wraps it up. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one. Keep her tuned.